Hi, welcome to the e-commerce mastery Facebook Live. My name is Matt Edmundson, and besides me is the, well, what can we say, all-round total brilliant person that is Beth.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show where we talk about all things to do with e-commerce and how to get your e-commerce business to thrive, right? I like that. That's the new.
Thrive. So,
Absolutely.
I think it's the word that you were looking for.
Saw.
That's something in my eye.
I was going to
now.
say, is your eye saw? Anyway,
It's not going wrong.
right at the start.
Okay.
So, what are we talking about in today's show?
Email marketing. We are talking about what do you do if you, like people don't have anything to say, like me right now, in email marketing. People are like, oh my goodness, what am I supposed to do?
How do I do it?
How do I do it? What if I've got nothing to say? Should I do it?
Mm.
I was actually surprised to learn that not all e-commerce companies do.
You'll be surprised actually how many don't.
Mm.
I have one client who doesn't really do email marketing. If you're watching, you know who you are. And we've had that conversation many times, right? And it surprises me how many people don't do e-marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And actually how many people that do it don't do it well, and it's not thought through, it's not deliberate, it's just kind of like, oh, I'm not sending an email for a few weeks, let's just throw one out there and see what happens.
Hi people.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about it in two different sections, if you like. E-blasts and email sequences.
I feel like we're doing a dance routine.
E-blasts and email sequences. So if that's you, if you're stuck and you don't know what to say, you've got nothing to say to your other customers, and you're like, oh, hey, writing an email, it's painful, what do I use, what should I do, then this is for you.
Excellent. So where do we start?
Okay, I've got a load of questions. So
Okay.
my first question to you is, which emails do you never fail to open? Is there someone that you're just like, oh yeah?
I always open
I
up their
always
emails.
open them.
My wife, but she's not an e-commerce business.
No.
Does that
Not
make sense?
people that you know.
Okay.
Companies.
Companies that I always companies I like buying from.
Mm-hmm.
So I like O'Neill
Mm-hmm.
as a clothing brand. So I genuinely open most of their emails.
Yeah.
Michael Hyatt, if he sends me emails, I open up his. So yeah, it's quite a few, I would have thought.
Mm-hmm. So that just proves that actually people do open these things up, right?
They do,
It's good
yeah,
stuff
totally.
inside.
Yeah, if they're connected with the brand well, they'll open them.
Mm-hmm.
That said, when I get those emails, Google, because I use Gmail, right? Google separates them into this tab for me called promotions. And so there's a load of emails that go in there that I don't actually read because I know that the company that sent them has just gone, ugh, like a email
Send.
dump, and it's I'm not interested in email dumps, so I just delete those.
Mm.
But the other ones, yeah, genuinely interested.
Mm. So why do you think companies complain that people are never opening their emails when they send them?
Because your emails are rubbish.
What makes an email rubbish?
Yeah, we're getting deep. So here's the thing, right? If you think about it, how many emails do you get every day?
Mm-hmm.
Loads, right? You get hundreds of emails every day. So which ones you open, we're getting more and more choosy over which emails we open. And companies like Google are making it more difficult for marketers by separating emails out into promotional tabs, so they become easier to just delete, right? And so you've really got to do something and stand out to get through that whole, I've got a bazillion emails and Google separated you out over here, explain to me why I should care, and if your email is just a general email blast, it's statistics are showing that those open rates and conversion rates are going down. People have had enough of them, so we've got to be much more deliberate and consistent in our emails.
Definitely. I think as well we need to be personal. So we need to be...
Definitely. That's a really good point.
We need to be personal. So we need to be thinking like, actually, who's going to open this email? Who's it for? And yeah. So what are e-blasts?
What are they?
Yeah, we need to separate the e-blasts from
Oh yeah, we need to do the dance move. Yeah. So e-blasts are literally where you send, say, one email to your whole entire database, right? It's like a shotgun. It's like, we're going to throw this one email out to 100,000 people and we're going to see what happens. It's a scattergun approach, right? It's not targeted, it is just literally whack it out there.
You can target e-blasts though. You can do it.
You can, and companies are starting to do that more. People are starting to segment their databases, aren't they? And they're like, we'll do this email blast to all of these customers over here. So rather than, as a jersey, for example, we've got, I don't know how many brands we have on there, but if somebody buys brand X, but they're not really interested in brand Y, then we'll email blast them brand X.
And that's top tip. That is top tip. So we send e-blasts on Tuesdays and Saturdays as the jersey company. So Jersey Beauty Company send e-blasts Tuesdays and Saturdays. And most e-blasts tend to be the kind of promotional ones, so kind of random, not really in sequence. So our Tuesday ones and our Saturday ones are usually completely different.
Yeah.
So you can do those, but
and people do open them.
And people do open them, but you just need to get specific, get personal, think about who's going to open it, segment if you can. I actually don't know how to segment, but like I tell other people to do it. So
and they do it for you.
Yeah, I want this persona to have this email. Can you make that happen? And some magical person does it for me.
Well, that's just a case of, Mark pulling off the email address list, isn't it? Of saying, right, pull out of the database all the people that meet this criteria, and we'll email them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you can do that as long as you can segment your data. That's pretty cool. Cool.
So the next question is, are e-blasts difficult to write? Okay.
I don't know why you're asking me that.
This question is aimed at me. So this is when you should can you put this fancy thing on?
Yeah.
So this is a jersey e-blast that we send out. So we send them Tuesday and Saturday. And how long have we been sending e-blasts out? Weekly ones?
2006, since Jersey started. Yeah. It has to be said, in the early days, in 2006, when we did an email blast, you had really high open rates, really high conversions. I mean, those things were off the charts. You almost wanted to send one every day because the amount of business they brought in but that's 2006. We're now 2017, right? So things have changed an awful lot.
Yeah, definitely. So this is our jersey email that we sent out yesterday, right? And as you can see, it's not much text on it. Like, there is a little bit, but there's not much at all. Dead clear, dead simple, not much to it. And this is the kind of ones we send out. And I think people get overwhelmed with like, oh, what should I send out? What should I write? Oh, I've not got any offers. But actually what I have learned in this is it, right? Come down to this moment of what I have learned in my life of email marketing. What I have learned is all you need to do, and it's painful if you like writing, but all you need to do is find the words that your customers use and find the sentences and find the offers that they like. Like, you can survey them, you can ask them. We rang them up and was just like, oh, what do you open, that kind of thing. And for us, there's a group of people that like the word free and they like the word Demologica.
You put those together, it's a winning combination.
And honestly, the open rates, if you look at the open rates without those words in versus the open rates with those words in, you just can't argue with it. So instead of arguing with it, I've learned
just go with the flow.
To go with the flow. You don't need to write much text. You just get a headline formula. You can, if you Google like headline formulas, like loads will come up. Just read a magazine. You have a look at headlines, change it to fit what your offer is, and just make it dead simple. Look at the words that your customers use, and like I said, you can survey them, find out what words.
And so on this one here, you've put 2 free age smart goodies when you spend £50, but the 2 free is massive. I mean that you open
because it's the free that people want. It's the Dermalogica that people want. Yeah. And I think the headline. Can you see the headline for it or not?
Can I what? Sorry.
The subject line. Free Dermalogica products. Shop dull skin. Getting darker with age. So I know that people are concerned with their dull skin, with the skin getting darker with age. I know that that's like a keyword phrase, so that's what I've put in there. So you just need to think about what it is your customers are looking for, and this might take a bit of research, a bit of time, but like. And
the subject line's super critical, right? Getting that right. I mean, spend some time thinking about the subject line. Yeah. It's probably, in some respects, almost more critical than the email because it's the subject line which determines whether the email's open.
Yeah. You gave me a really good book about this a couple of years ago.
Did I?
Yeah.
Do you remember
it? It's called something along the lines of, and I'll link it in if I can remember, Email Marketing Headlines That Make You Rich.
Okay.
And it's basically just literally, it's a book of tons of headlines. That's it. And you just try them out, like test them. You can do split tests on most.
Yeah, most
Fridays, right? And just
you should
test
probably
them.
Explain what a split test is for those that don't know.
So split tests So is when you send like 50% of the people that receive your email. What would you call them?
Let's call them Group A.
Group A. Send Group A. Send Group A one headline, subject line, and send Group B a second subject line, and then test, see which one does better open rates and better click-throughs as well, because that's how you measure e-blasts, is open rates and click-throughs. The highest open rate we've received in a while was the Black Friday one last year.
Yeah. Where we had over a 50% open rate.
And that
is not typical. That was a stroke of genius.
That's not typical. That was your exclusive access to our Remarkable Friday pre-launch. That was the sub. What's it called?
Subject. You can see why we put Beth in charge of marketing.
I don't think you can.
So back to getting on point. The thing that you were saying is you obviously use keywords here that help people open up the emails, but the actual content of this email, there's not a lot of text.
There's not a lot to it. You don't have to be a content marketer
to create that kind of text, right? In fact, there's a few sentences. There's some buttons which you can click through on. How long does it take you to put an email together?
Okay, so when you do it this way, and I've done it loads of different ways. When you do it this way, when you get like a list of things that work, so I've got a list of headlines, I've got a list of words that work, get them out every time I'm writing some e-blasts. I don't write one at a time. I write them in bulk because it's just easier. So say I'm going to do about 10, sit down, I'm going to do 10, got my little headlines on this side of the page, and then it'll take me 15 minutes, if that.
15 minutes to write 10 emails?
Per
email?
Per email,
okay.
Because I want to get it right.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I would say, probably a bit less actually nowadays.
Because you're getting faster.
As I'm getting faster, yeah. But there was a time where it took me an hour per email.
An hour per email?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I didn't know what we were doing, so I'd have to go and get the offer.
And that's fair play.
Get that.
Yeah, that's fair play. I get that people will spend longer writing them at the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. But you don't have to do that. Just get a list. That's all you need.
Very good.
Yep. So, should everyone send e-blasts?
Yes. I think so. I think as long as they're working, that would be my only caveat here, is if you're sending out email blasts and you're getting a lot of unsubscribes, you're getting very low click-through rates and no one's really buying, then actually by sending them out you seem to be annoying people.
Yeah.
So if they're working and you've got a good formula, you've got the personalization, you've thought about the offers, and they are genuinely good email, your customers will want to see them, right? So so do send them out, but watch the metrics and make sure you're not just sending them out willy-nilly. Yeah.
And what types of content could you send in e-blasts? Does it have to be just offers?
No, you can send all kinds of stuff, can't you? I mean, what's some of the stuff that we've sent out?
So I would say if you're going to send, it depends what company you are. So if you're going to send an offer one, I've just said I know what words work for that. So if I'm going to start sending blog ones, it'd probably be a different audience, different words, different stuff. So I'd probably spend a little time researching and thinking how I'm going to do that. But I would send blogs, I would send Facebook Lives, I would send offers. Depends what kind of company you're at, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and it depends what your customers want to know. So you can send out educational emails, offer emails, update emails. We don't send out newsletters hey, such and such has joined the team this week, because people usually don't care, right?
You want it to be worthwhile.
It's got to be worthwhile for them. So, make it about the customer, make it fun, make it happy, and if you can do that and there's some value to it, it doesn't have to be just about the offers. And in fact, you want folks to get used to opening up emails from you. Generally, because Google likes that, right? Especially if it's a Gmail thing. They monitor how many times people open up your emails and read it. I'm fairly sure they do. And so the more customers get used to opening up your emails, the more likely they are to keep opening them.
And with blogs as well, if you're going to do a blog one, so ours, because it is an offer, tends to go in the promotional tab, but we try to make it like a plain text email to make it go in the
normal tab.
The inbox. And it didn't work for an offer, but if I was going to do one for a blog, I'd probably do it in plain text and try and get it in the inbox tab.
Yep, which is cool. Top tip.
Okay, and what platforms can you use to send e-blast? We use MailChimp, you can use HubSpot, I don't know anymore.
I just know MailChimp. So there's loads of them. There's Get Drip. There's
I do know Drip.
Constant Contacts. There's Ontraport. I mean, you just put in email providers. Aweber. There's loads of them. I mean, we use specifically in Jersey. We use MailChimp and HubSpot for our emails. And we've tried lots of them over the years, and we kind of like those two.
Yeah.
We've got used to them.
Definitely.
Another thing to say about this email, actually, just hijacking it slightly, is the way that it's been laid out. I don't know if you noticed, this works super well on a mobile.
Yeah.
And the majority of your emails are going to be opened on a mobile device. So make sure that when you send them, people can see it and read it and understand it on a mobile. Yeah? I've seen a lot of emails come to me through on my phone, where if I was on a desktop, I would be able to read the text in the image, but on my mobile, I'm like, I have no idea, and the picture's super small, and it's just
really frustrating.
very, very frustrating. So test, check, and double check everything you send on a mobile device before you send it out.
Definitely, top tip. Okay, so that's email blasts, and hopefully that showed that they're not too hard to make, not too hard to do. But if you're still like, oh my goodness, I really don't want to do any blasts, you can do an email sequence. Email
sequences are cool.
Do you know what they are? What is an email sequence?
I do know what they are. I feel like I've scored points because I know what email sequences are super cool. They're like the in thing of email marketing now, right? It's what a lot of companies are now, instead of just sending the email blast, which is 1 or 2 emails a week to a group of people. Email sequences are when you send one email to one person, but you send multiple emails over a period of time, right? So people might join, say, your mailing list, and so rather than just sending them a note saying thank you, you put them on a sequence. So on day, as soon as they join, you send them an email. A day later, you send them another email with something else in. Day 3, you send them another one, and so on and so forth, right? So up to maybe 5 or 7 emails in a sequence. And that is super, super powerful.
It is really powerful. What is the purpose of the email sequences then? Because obviously, e-blast, we're sending out promotions like with the one we've just seen. The purpose is to get them to shop. Yeah,
so the purpose of that email is to get them to shop. So the purpose of email sequences, I would say, one is you want them to get used to opening up your emails. So the idea of a sequence is you want to create content which leads on to the next email, so they're looking forward to when that arrives, right? Because again, we need to get people used to opening up our emails. I would say that's one key purpose. You can do offers and stuff in email sequences, but you can onboard people better. So it may be that somebody's joined your newsletter, or they've downloaded a guide, and they've done that because they're not ready to buy. And so you can use email sequences to lead them on a journey and onboard them. So by the time they've got the 4th or 5th email, then they are ready to buy. What is that the right answer?
Yeah, it's the right answer. That's exactly what we're doing. It's just to prove that there's a different purpose, because e-blasts are like completely different in terms of you just send one and that's it, and people will open it either and then it's gone. Whereas email sequences, they will run forever. So it's quite genius when you think about it.
And they're automated as well, which is, I like, one of the cool things you can do with email sequences is automate them. So a good example of an email sequence would be, say, abandoned cart. So if someone's put something in their basket, but then they've not gone on to purchase that product, and you know who they are because they're logged in, you can send them an email a few hours later saying, hey, we noticed there's still stuff in your cart, right? But then if after 3 days they've still not purchased it, you can go send them another email saying, hey, we noticed you've still not purchased this stuff. Here's a 5% discount code or something like that. And then if after 5 days they've still not purchased, you could then send them another one saying, hey, there's a 7% discount code, or whatever your strategy is. But it's not just a case of sending one email. There's an actual sequence that you put people on a journey.
Definitely. And like you just said, we started, I don't know if it's this one or this one, I'm going to guess it's, so we started, when they take action, it's when a customer takes, or a visitor takes action on your website. So when someone looks at our website, stops by, we just literally send a, hi, we noticed that you were recently on our site, here's some items, some bestsellers that we think you'll like. It's just got our bestsellers, and that's it. How simple is that?
That's very simple.
Dead simple. So simple. You don't have to sit down every week and write emails. You just have to do it.
But it's
once.
super effective, right? Works well. And gets
Yeah.
people engaged in the site.
Cool. So where should we start with an email sequence? If someone wants to create one.
I think you've got to start with thinking about the journey that you want to take them on,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So what's going to trigger the sequence? So, for example, are they downloading a guide off your website? So we've got guides, haven't we? Like the ultimate skincare guide or whatever it's called. And so if someone's downloaded that but they've not purchased anything, then obviously they're in that phase where they're just trying to figure out what it is that they want. And so then we can use email to help them on a journey.
Yeah.
Right? And actually, this is where it gets super complicated but incredibly brilliant, is those emails can then be interactive.
Yeah.
So we could, for example, we might send them an email. This is oversimplifying it, but we might send them an email saying, here's a guide, download the guide. And then in the next email, we're like, okay, I hope you're getting on reading the guide. Well, we talked about different skin types in the guide. We talk about more, but let's say there's 2, right?
Yeah.
Are you dry or oily skin? And then they can click a button responding to that. And then once we get their response, we could then put them on another email sequence, right? So if they click dry skin, we can then put them on a dry skin sequence, which is like, 5 steps to clearing up your dry skin. And we start them off on something simple, and then we build in that journey, add some products and so on and so forth. So how do we build one? Figure out where people are starting.
Yeah.
What's triggering the journey.
You can use last week's Facebook Live.
You can.
Yeah, because we talked about
Hotjar.
Hotjar. I was like, what is it called? It's not HubSpot. Hotjar, to find out where people are clicking, and then when they click whatever they click, get an email involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you can get email sequences involved. That's a good idea. Figure out what the start journey is, and then think about the journey that you want to take them on with the email sequence, and then plan a 5 to 7 stage email sequence accordingly. I mean, is there like a formula that we use on our email sequences?
One of the most, so I had a look to see if there's any that people could recreate for themselves, and one of the most simple ones that we did that was actually really, really effective was just 3 emails.
Okay.
So we made a guide even about a product. So it was a new product, Phyto Replenish Oil, on JSB's site, and then we sent them
this one is,
a thank you. They said, download the guide. We said,
oh no, that was this one.
So people clicked download the guide, they entered the email address, and then we sent them a thank you, here's your guide email. So that's email 1, thank you, here's your guide. Look forward to hearing from us soon, because they know something else is coming. And then the second email was just a blog post about, we figured out what kind of skin type they were, and then we sent them one that was more specific to their skin.
So we knew that this person here was, this person's interested in aging.
Yeah. So we sent the Fine Lines and Wrinkles blog, so we send them a blog, a piece of content that we've done. And then the third email,
and this is the blog that they go to.
So then after reading the blog...
And actually we know if they've clicked that link.
Yeah. How weird and cool is that? At the same time.
Yeah.
And then they read the blog and they either think, oh yeah, this is definitely the product for me after reading it, and you can actually buy the call to action on this blog is to buy the product.
Here it is,
or they might want to spend a bit of time thinking about it, so we email them later being like, how are you getting on, how are you thinking about it, here it is if you want to buy it. And that's just dead simple, 3 emails.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you, bit of content, do you want to buy it?
Yeah, and that works super well.
Yeah.
So they don't have to be anything complicated, and that was a nice formula for people that needed onboarding into the buying process. Obviously there were people that would go and buy it there and then, but actually the people that have downloaded the guide, we want them to remember they've downloaded it, we want them to remember us, we want them to connect those things together, that we've been super helpful, and if they feel the product's right for them, here's a link to buy it.
Yeah, dead simple, you can copy that, dead easy. And writing a guide is not hard at all. If you're like, I can't do email marketing because I don't know what to say, guaranteed, just take a step back, think about what it is you're selling, write everything you know on one piece of paper, and then get some random copywriters to make it look fancy.
Just pull them in off the street. You make it sound so easy.
And that's what you do if you've not got anything to write about. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
I think we've got people unstuck
on the emails. Okay, so we now understand email blasts, email sequences, when to use email blasts, when to use email sequences, and given some examples of email sequences. So what, and we use MailChimp and HubSpot for both of those things, but there are plenty of programs out there, plenty of services that you could, how old am I? Programs. There are services out there which you can subscribe to which will help you do those things. The bottom line is keep it simple, don't make it overly complicated.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Monitor results so you can learn going forward.
Right,
which is what you did. You've tracked your headlines. And actually, if you keep on top of this, email marketing can still be super, super effective, and it can still add 10, 20, 30% to your bottom line when you do it well. Is that a fair comment?
Definitely, that is a fair comment. Good summary as well.
Awesome. Is there anything else?
There's nothing else to add. I feel like we've covered it all.
Okay, we've covered it. Brilliant. Well, in that case, if you have any questions about email marketing where e-commerce is concerned, then leave them in the comments below and we will try and answer them. What's in the comments above?
Above, there's a link to our YouTube, your YouTube channel. I forgot which channel we're on. We're not talking
about it. Too many companies.
So above there's a link to Matt Edmundson's YouTube. There's your vlogs on there. Then we put the weekly lives on there, and there's loads of things that you can watch and learn. And
there's lots of e-commerce little tutorials and stuff.
So subscribe, basically.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You will enjoy it, and the link for that is above. Leave your comments below. And next week.
No, not next week. The week after.
There is no Facebook Live next week. And so we are back in 2 weeks' time. And what are we doing in 2 weeks?
What is mentoring in the workplace?
Okay. Why not? Why not? Okay, so we hope to see you in the next Facebook Live. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening, and we will see you again soon.